Hi, my name is Lou,
And I'm Katie.
and you're listening to Files from the Other Side. This week we're opening the files on.
Greek mythology.
Ooh. I always say that
Ooh.
every time I'm like, ooh.
Ooh. Because
Because
it's exciting every time.
and I'm super fascinated by literally everything we talk about on every episode, so
That's why
this
we
is
do
what you're going to
this.
get from me. Yeah.
That's why we do what we do.
Yeah. Well, so I asked myself this question this week. Why is Greek mythology important?
Mm.
And I really wanted to dig deep.
I mean, history's important.
I mean, that's, yes.
Part of it.
That's probably the number one thing, actually. But so it's preliminary to Western thought, culture, art, and language.
Mm-hmm.
It resonates cross-culturally. It gives particular historic insight, just like Katie said. It reflects a particular worldview. And I say particular because it's from a time and place. It's not from another place or another time, right? Let's say like we were talking about Norse mythology or Egyptian mythology or Hindu, Chinese, indigenous, African. All of these other mythologies culturally influence and how we all understand society from our own human experiences and our own cultural histories. But basically, it's how we understand ourselves and the world around us, including more deep and philosophical ponderings, which I think is the fun part. Like I said, mythologies can be regionally specific, so to have a favorite mythology depends on your cultural upbringing and education. So like my education, I was always taught Greek mythology because it was like the pinnacle of Western thought.
Yeah. They invented democracy. Kind of.
Yeah, you get told a lot of stuff about Greek mythology in American high schools, I think, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have like a very wide cultural range, so you don't get a lot of other mythologies in school, which is unfortunate because I feel like mythology. This is actually why, because I'm going to talk about cosmology. So Greek cosmos means the universe, the world, and logia, study of, right? So cosmology. It's a branch of physics and metaphysics that deals with the nature of the universe or the cosmos, right? I think it's like this is like why it's important because basically like let me explain it in the two ways that we understand cosmology. There's the first, which is physics, and then metaphysics. So physics is like astronomy. It deals with the chronology of the universe, the history and the future of the universe. It's seen more as like scientifically sound. But then there's mythology, religion, and other esoteric literature that deals with the creation myths and end times myths, right? That's the metaphysics. That's the more philosophical undertaking. But understanding the dynamics of the universe enriches our knowledge, period. Right? Human perspectives and philosophies are developed as well as our scientific foundations from these things. And that is your lesson on cosmology and why Greek mythology is important.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to class.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh my God.
Everyone, Katie got a new cat.
I got a kitten. I got a little baby kitten, and the spirit moved me. We were cuddling, and he was staring off in the fucking distance, and I don't know why, but I was like, Tivolepis, which is Greek for, what do you see? A ghost, probably, but I don't know how to say that in Greek yet. I actually have been learning Greek for the last couple of years because it's like my favorite place on earth. Also, I want to say part of the reason why we learn about it so much is because it gets written down. Like all of this stuff got written down in the Iliad and the Odyssey versus it's a lot more oral histories and traditions in other parts of the world. So that also might be a factor in why we learn about it in the Western.
Well,
People
that
like
and
Norse
like when we
mythology
think
too.
about, well, yeah, but then when we think about, let's say, indigenous mythology, how much of that wasn't written down, but then also colonized and forgotten or lost based on the murder of indigenous peoples? Yeah.
A lot of Norse mythology has been Christianized anyways because they didn't start writing any of it down until after.
Yeah, the Eddas, right?
Yeah,
The Eddas are kind of late in history.
They're post Christianization. So, like Greek mythology is one of the few that got written sources. I find it fascinating to compare shit. I almost was going to tell the story of Persephone and Hades just because I find it fascinating that so many myths, because there's a, like, I think it's the Babylonian myth explaining seasons also involves somebody dying and going into the underworld to rescue them, which I think is a fascinating correlation. But I'm not talking about Persephone and Demeter, actually. We all know that one.
We all kind of know that one. Isn't there like that famous book series out now? Have you heard of it? It's called like
The Lightning Thief?
No.
I was like, she knows the Lightning Thief. Yeah. Mm-mm. I was like, she knows Percy Jackson.
It's a graphic novel series, and it's about Persephone and Hades.
Sick.
I've read it. I've read the online versions before they published it.
Sick.
Yeah, I loved it. It was amazing. It was incredible. But it was very, very mommy. Like, it really read like mommy, and I was like, this is probably why I like it.
I did not get why men wanted to be called daddy until I heard this song. It's called Sloppy by King Mala and Upsal, and there's a line in the song that says, if life is gonna fuck me, it better call me mommy. And I was like, oh wait, I get it now.
Well, doesn't King Mala do this, and she calls me
daddy? Yeah. I fucking love that song.
No, that's my song and Haley's song. Haley's song for sure. Yeah.
I love King Mala. We stand.
Dude, I had a dream the other night that me and King Princess were in a polyamorous relationship I was still with Haley
But also with King Princess too?
And King Princess told me that their friends said it was okay that they date me, and I said, whatever.
Cool, I guess.
I was like, okay.
I fucking Talia fucks me up, dude. I like cry every time I hear that fucking song. Oh my god.
For me, it's the 1950 song.
Ooh. I sometimes skip that one because I'm like, fuck that patriarchy. I know it's like turning it on its head. Obviously, she's also saying fuck that patriarchy. Like, I get that, but sometimes I'm resisting the urge not to just break out into song right now.
Anyways, so what are our favorite myths, Katie?
Okay. I am so excited to tell you guys about my girl, the token girl of Greek mythology, Atalanta. She's an Arcadian princess. Her parents really wanted a son, so her father abandoned her on a hilltop, supposedly Mount Parthenion. And a bear, symbol of Artemis, saves her and starts raising her as her own cub. A little cub. So she starts her life being raised by bears, which is fucking sick. And then like hunters from like around Arcadia find her, not from her original kingdom, and start raising her. And as she goes up, she was apparently an oracle said that her marriage would be her undoing, and so she is like, Artemis has been my protector, like my patron god, my personal patron god for like ever, because again, bear is a symbol of Artemis. So she's like, I'm gonna just be a huntress and live in the woods and like worship Artemis. She slays 2 centaurs because they wanted to rape her. She's like, none of this. So she fucking kills them. Pseudo Apollodorus puts her on the voyage of the Argo. In Diodorus Sicilius's version, she fights in Colchis alongside Jason and all the other heroes aboard the Argo, and is healed by Medea. But in Apollonius Rhodes version, which is the Argonautica, the official one, she is excluded, not because she's not fucking badass, but because having a woman on board could create strife among the men. Actually, having a woman on board could create strife among men. That's how you correctly do air quotes, you guys. Just saying. So, in the official, like, in some versions, she's part of the Argos, Voyage of the Argos. In some versions, she's not. The official, like, main one that most people read, she's not part of it, which is... Anyway, so King Aeneas of Caledon, like, forgets to worship Artemis in, like, whatever, some festival. So Artemis sicks the Caledonian boar on the fucking empire, and then the king is like, "Oh, we need help to get rid of this boar." Blah, blah, blah. A bunch of men and Atalanta show up, and then they're all like, "We don't want to fucking hunt with the girl." Blah 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 blah. And Meleager, the king's son, is like, "Well, y'all are a bunch of wusses. Fuck off. We're gonna go fucking slay this Caledonian boar." And then they get in line, because he's like the prince or whatever. So. She gets the first strike in. Somebody else gets another strike in the eye. Meleager actually gets him in the chest. Fucking the boar goes down. Meleager's like trying to give her the skin as the prize, right? The uncle's not about it. They think it's bullshit that a woman would get the prize, even though she fucking got the first hit with her arrow. So Meleager kills his uncles about it. And then Meleager's mother finds out. Meleager, side note, Meleager's life force is like linked to this like piece of like wood, and like when it burns up, he's dead. So awesome. Meleager's mother finds out that her brothers are dead, hucks the wood into a fire, kills Meleager.
Damn.
Yeah, no, fucked up. So then her father, Atalanta's father, hears about all of this stuff. Like, right, she kicks ass. He hears about it, and he's like, "Great, I'm going to like re-own you, I guess. Like, what's the I'm going to take you back. You are now my daughter again, and I'm going to arrange for your marriage." And she's like, "How the fuck do I? Yeah, this is supposed to be my undoing. Whatever the fuck." So then they do that. This is a famous story. Her foot races. There's tons of suitors, and she starts being like, "Okay, great. If you want to be my husband, you have to beat me in a foot race, and I will kill anybody who loses to me." So
she's extreme. She's the lady who knows something about something.
She knows what's up. Well, she doesn't want to, like, she's like, marriage is going to be her undoing, right? So she's like not trying to fucking get married. That's why she was living in the woods as a huntress for so long. Like, yeah, like, fucking killed centaurs that wanted to rape her. Like, she's a fucking G. She's an OG. So she's like killing all these suitors and stuff. She keeps beating everybody. She keeps killing them until Hippomenes shows up. And Hippomenes prepared by getting 3 golden apples from Aphrodite. So like they're doing the foot race. He throws a golden apple. She's like, "Ooh, shiny," and goes, gets it. And then it's like, wait, fuck. Catches up to him again. Anytime he catches up to her, she catches up to him. He throws another golden apple. And by the third one, she's like, maybe I'll just let him win anyways. And fucking they get married. But then Hippomenes forgets to like thank Aphrodite for it, so she curses them to like bone in a temple, either to Zeus or Rhea. It's like different variations of the story, like depending on where you are geographically and who's actually being worshipped. So the stories change. But some temple, Zeus or Rhea, they bone, which is like not allowed. And then Zeus, Artemis, or Cybele turns them into lions, because at the time it was thought that lions could only mate with leopards, so they were like cursed to like not mate with each other. Was the curse.
Wow.
So yeah, that's Atalanta. She gets turned into a lioness at the end.
That's cool. I like that one.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I've heard the story about somebody being turned into lions, but I don't think I remembered that was the myth.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Atalanta, like, I feel like I heard about the golden apples, like, being thrown in the foot race before I heard about the Caledonian boar. So, like, they, like, take apart parts of the fucking myths, too. I mean, clearly,
yeah,
like,
and, like, when you're reading the myths, too, like, they blend into each other. Like, yeah. They're not really separate from the story itself.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's how I felt about Daedalus and Icarus.
Mm.
So, basically, there's the myth of the King Minos and the Minotaur before there's Icarus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to tell a little bit about the Minotaur to get to the part about Icarus.
Daedalus and Icarus, yeah.
Yeah. So Daedalus can't leave Crete because the Minotaur that the king Minos trapped in a labyrinth designed by Daedalus was slain by this guy Theseus.
Sorry, Theseus sucks dick.
Well, it's funny because I could not find a source where I understood why it was Daedalus's fault, and so the king Minos wanted to punish him.
Daedalus was like, okay, so Daedalus was the scientist like on hand for the fucking empire, and then the woman, like the queen, like commissioned Daedalus to make a fucking like a cow costume for her so she could fuck the bull. And that's how the Minotaur becomes a thing.
Okay, so yeah, a lot of these sources were not directing me towards good reasons why. Because I literally wrote down, I don't really understand why it's Daedalus's fault, but I think there's something about a lover involved. Maybe the mother of Icarus. I don't know.
The queen. The queen commissions Daedalus to make her the bull costume. I think somebody had infected her with something too to make her want to fuck the white bull of Crete.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but then that's why Daedalus is trapped, is because he helped her make the Minotaur, and that's his punishment.
Well, what's really funny is a lot of the sources that were coming up on my laptop, like 4 or 5 pages deep on Google, were just like kid retellings, like kid lit retellings.
Like very sanitized.
Yeah, like they wouldn't really tell. It'd be like they'd skip over the part where Daedalus was in trouble, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
and
because
one thing. In one of them, it just said, what did it say? It said, like, he just got mad at him or something. It was so funny. It was, or he had no use for him anymore. And I was like, that's not right. There's a reason why.
Because he made the suit for the wife, for the bull. The bull.
Anyways, so Daedalus can't leave Crete.
Yeah.
Okay, so Daedalus, the genius inventor that he is, having already constructed the labyrinth, now constructs some wings for them to escape. Icarus is young and dumb, as the myth will tell you. Young and dumb, very silly little boy. And then Daedalus wants to escape with Icarus. Obviously, it's his son. So they both have this set of wings. And Daedalus is like, okay, Icarus, listen up, dude. You can't fly too high or fly too low because these wings are made of wax. They're made of stuff that literally will freeze up or melt. And you need to stay middle ground when you're flying away from Crete. So, there's that. But then there's this passage that I was reading in one of the sources, and I think it was just the English translation of the text. I don't remember what it's called. Sorry, guys. But the passage talks about how onlookers could think of them as gods, essentially, and be like tricked into thinking that Icarus and Daedalus were gods, seeing them flying in the sky. So there's this little passage situated, and then it tells you about how Icarus is vain, so he starts to fly really high away from his father, and as he sets for the sun, his wings begin to melt, obviously, being made of wax, and then he dies falling into the ocean below. Daedalus is devastated to discover his wings in the waves of the Icarian Sea, which is what they named the sea after Icarus falling in there. And then there's this last passage about like
hubris.
Basically, it's like how even-tempered birds are, and how like a bird will never fly too high or fly too low because it already kind of knows what it needs to do. And it talked about like birds like being nestled into its like little cove or whatever. And so I love this myth for one reason and one reason only. You want to hear what it is?
Yeah, because if it's not the lesson against hubris, like all other major Greek, well, Hercules actually had the fault of wrath, but hubris is usually the thing that Greek myths are against.
So it's not that. It's something completely different, and I want you to laugh, okay?
Okay, tell me. I'm ready. I'm ready to laugh.
One of my favorite songs by Bastille is called Icarus, and I think it's a beautiful song. That's all.
Why not?
Thank you.
Live it up. Live it up. God bless.
I was like, I have no other reason for really liking this myth besides that. And, like, I know Greek myth because I've been educated on Greek myth, but it is not like it's my favorite. I think I'm a fan of all myth. Like, I very much, it's like you put anything in front of me, I'm like, cool, what's this about? Like, I like the Bible, for Christ's sake.
Bible's great. I mean, it's weird.
So it's like, I'm not partial to any of these stories. What really fuels it for me is, like, weird stuff. Like, I like Bastile's song.
Yeah, great. Love it. I love that. I bet, yeah. Wait, is there a musical reason why... Never mind, I'll ask you when you tell your next story.
Okay.
I was like, is there a musical reason why we love Prometheus? Is there?
Oh. No.
No. Prometheus.
There's no reason.
He gave us fire.
I like Prometheus because it's one of the human origin stories, and it's just cool.
It is cool. It is cool.
So Prometheus was a Titan who switched sides during the battle for the heavens between the Titans and Olympians. Prometheus means forethought, and he thought he tried to think his way out of the battle, which ended poorly for the Titans anyways. So Prometheus is a masterful creator and tries to make humans from clay. Prometheus gave humans gifts, including fire. Zeus and the other gods created animals out of trickery to live alongside humans, either fairly or dangerously. So we get animals. We get aminals out of this. Cute little aminals. Even though Zeus is mad, but we still get them. So
Zeus is okay. When is Zeus not mad?
Never. Sorry, Zeus. Don't strike me down. Prometheus still loved humans, and during a festival with a sacrificial bull, Prometheus tricks the gods by making the inedible parts of the bull look tastier than the edible parts, and gives the real prize to the humans. And when Zeus realizes he selected the poor end of the deal by selecting the inedible parts of the bull, he takes fire away from the humans. He says, "No mas.
No mas fire. No mas fuego."
So Prometheus, with the help of some other gods, sneaks back into Mount Olympus, steals fire back using a fennel stalk, and then he walks it all the way back to them. And Zeus, because he's still super mad,
and also a little bitch. Yeah,
oh God. Said it. Okay, I want you to stop right now, because here's the reason. There was a lightning strike outside this window the first day we moved in. I have never seen anything so close to me in my life. I felt like a shotgun had gone out right in my ear.
God, I bet.
I do not disrespect Zeus in this house anyways.
Okay. Does it count as being in your house because you can be heard in your I can be heard in your house? Okay, sorry.
And also there's all this technological equipment that I'm not trying to get zapped by. You know what I mean?
Fair. Okay, so sorry. I take it back. Zeus, we cool. Is this some hubris cool that I need to...
Yes, just be cool with Zeus. That's all I'm saying. Just don't piss him off.
Can I pick fights with Thor?
Sure. I don't care about Thor. Thor can fuck off. Zeus, though, you can't really... Because here's why. He punishes Prometheus by chaining him to a mountain to be tortured by a liver-eating eagle for eternity. His liver would regenerate and the bird would snack again every day.
It's fucked up.
And then I didn't really understand... like how Prometheus escapes Zeus, or if Zeus let him out, or if Hercules does it, because there's a ton. That's where the myth kind of goes into variations. But then it gets into the myth of Pandora's box, the creation of the first woman right after Prometheus. So that's my who's who and what's what with Prometheus.
Prometheus is sick. He gave us fire. Like, we did. We stand Prometheus.
Enter fire flame emoji here.
What? Oh, because we're not on FaceTime. That's why it's not working.
I was pretending to be a firebender.
Yeah! My flame would come out blue like Azula. My fireballs.
I'd probably be more Zuko. Although Zuko can do the thing.
Zuko's dark-haired and brooding. Yeah. You're not that brooding, but you're dark-haired.
I used to be brooding.
Yeah.
I used to be a broody boy.
Broody boy. Mm-hmm. Broody boy. You have a whole shitload of honor, so that's, yeah.
My honor.
Oh, man. Okay,
So what's yours? What's your next one?
I was literally gonna be like, how do I segue into Psyche and Eros? Because Psyche is the human soul.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so Psyche is this beautiful princess. She's so beautiful that she has been started, like, people of Earth have started worshiping her instead of Aphrodite. Which Aphrodite's not happy about.
No, you don't slam her.
You don't fucking slam her. So she gets Eros to make Psyche fall in love with the horrible monster. However, Eros fucking goes down to like do the thing and pricks his own self with a fucking arrow and falls in love with her himself. And so, okay, he falls in love with her, and the Oracle of Delphi said, like, her family's, like, worried about her because she's not, like, getting married off. She's, like, so beautiful that people actually don't want to marry her. Like,
they're scared of her.
They're terrified of her. Right. So, Oracle of Delphi says to bring her in all black to this, like, cliffside, and, she's like, oh, I'm gonna die. She's scared she's gonna die, but Zephyr, the Western Wind, takes her to Eros's palace. She doesn't realize it's Eros's palace. She just, like, knows that she's got, like, an invisible man, and he's like, I'm gonna be your husband, and she's like, this is a nice-ass palace. That's cool. You have a nice voice, and you tell me you love me over and over again at night. So, okay, fine, cool. You're a hunter. Great. That's why you're not here all day, every day. So she's like alone in this palace all day every day, and then like one night he comes home and she's like, I want some company, like, can you get my sisters to come visit me? And he's like, of course, babe, got you. Sisters come visit them, gorgeous palace, and she's like, he's a hunter, and her sister's like, no, like, that's not, like, he's got to be a god, or maybe he's that snake that the Oracle of Delphi said that you were gonna fucking marry.
They were teasing her.
They were fucking with her because they were jealous because their husbands weren't, like, as rich and powerful because they're not the actual god of romantic love. So she so her fucking sisters instill this doubt in her, so she's like, fuck, after like a week or so, she's like, I have to investigate, even though I was like told like to like that everything was Gucci Mane, like I'm gonna fucking like. She lights an oil lamp when he gets back home one night and sees that it's this beautiful man, Eros, and it's like, oh my god, he's so beautiful, like, I'm chilling, it's fine, but then spills a little bit of the oil on him on accident. He wakes up and is like, I'm betrayed, and leaves. And she's like, fuck. Fuck. So she's like sad that she just like lost her man and goes to a temple of Aphrodite. And Aphrodite's like, oh, bitch.
Not you, bitch.
Not this fucking bitch. So, fucking Psyche's like, please, can I have my man back in there? Aphrodite's like, well, if you prove yourself. So she gives her a few tests. The first test is like, she's like given a bunch of seeds to sort through, and she's like, I can sort through the seeds. It's like, he's like, how? What? And some ants fucking are passing by, and they're like, we'll do it for you. We got you, girl. Because, you know, it's we want them to be together. So the ants fucking sort through the tiny seeds for her. The next task is she has to go fill a cup from the river Estigi, but it's like slippery, like cliffs and fucking falling rocks and shit like that, and Zeus sends an eagle to fill it for her. So
more of the eagles.
We love the eagles. And the next one, there's some versions have her collecting like golden fleece, like from there's like these golden rams and fucking blah blah blah. And my God's like, grab it off the shrubs instead of like trying to get it off the fucking rams. But the last task would be like, the last task across all of this is Aphrodite gives her a box to take to the underworld to put Persephone's beauty in. And so she does that, and then as she's coming back, she's like, oh, this has pure beauty in it. I could use some after all of this shit that I've been doing, because I'm about to go see my man. And she dies when she opens the box. But God. Eros saves her fucking it goes to Zeus and he's like, can you please make my girlfriend a god so that we could be together? And Zeus is like, of course, gives her ambrosia. They drink it. They are married as equals. And they have a little baby called Hedone, which is Greek for approximately translated to joy. So it's like the whole story, the whole myth is about how like the human soul and love give birth to joy.
That is so sweet and so
Isn't
cute.
that so cute?
And I love hearing about these little babies.
Little babies.
Little baby myths.
Little baby myths. That was a nice one. Except for Aphrodite's always kind of a petulant fucking asshole, so.
Yeah.
Very
Peace
fickle.
be with you, Aphrodite.
Peace be with you, my dear. And we're just
I'm
like
trying to get
smited
today. Not today.
I'm
bitch.
out here like, stop being a little bitch. They're, I mean, are they real? Are they not real? Who knows? I think it's really interesting that like Greek and Norse mythology specifically are so like, we humanize. They're they're so petty. They're so like, Zeus is such a slut. Like, you know, like it's just.
Yeah, they all are. Really.
Yeah.
But it just comes from like I think it just speaks to the different time and place though. Like I
For
think it's just harkens back to a time we barely remember, yet we have these pieces of literature that can explain to us a thing or two. And I think that's beautiful.
Oh, it certainly is.
And it has been fun, I will say, talking about these Greek myths, but you know, does God exist?
Does God exist? I mean, I think so, but I think it's more of a, what the Hindus call ultimate reality. Like, I think that there is an ultimate reality, like, pervading, like, the flow of the universe and stuff like that. I don't think it's, like, the Christian, like, it's not somebody sitting in the fucking sky. It's not Zeus, like, calling the fucking shots. Ain't nobody calling the fucking shots. Like, it's ultimate. There's an ultimate reality that pervades
I'm hard pressed to say that even if that's
all
the
creation,
truth, that there wouldn't be just one God. And I think that's why I also like the term deity, because deity makes you understand that maybe there's more shit going on outside that reality than just one being. So I guess as like a psychic medium, paranormal investigator, with all the things I do, I never rule out deities being a part of the communication that I receive as a medium, if that makes sense. But I also don't rule out any deity specifically. Like if I happen to upon like something that feels important to me, I feel like some things point to specific deities, but then some things point to godliness itself. And I think when I get into godliness itself, I am thinking more about reality, space, time, and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I would say yes. It's just, I would say it's not just one God. I would say you're in the realm of deities now, and what are you going to do about that?
worship them, thank them, be fearful.
You can ask them for stuff too, I guess.
But only if you're like nice to them for like don't ask for shit if you're not also providing.
Oh yeah, it has to be a mutual relationship. But I think that's how most people go about it. I don't think it's like except for like I would say like mainstream white supremacist, white nationalist Christianity makes it seem like you and your deity have a specific relationship that's just not, it's just reciprocal one way. It's not the only thing you have to do in that circumstance is pray.
Yeah.
And go to church maybe, and then convert all your friends to your faith. But I think that I have been thinking about this for a long time. You tell me what you think about this, Katie. I think that white nationalist, white supremacist Christianity, that like thing itself is its own deity. but I wouldn't call it the Christian God. I would call it another God, like a way more wrathful, militant God.
I don't think you're off base, because like that version, that brand of Christianity, I like referring to specific Christian sects as brands.
It's pretty funny. Maybe blasphemous, but it's fine.
I was literally calling Zeus a little bitch. I don't care about blasphemy. It's like one of my life goals to be officially excommunicated from the church somehow. Like I'm like, blasphemy is my favorite.
I know. It's my favorite joke of all time, besides maybe treason.
Wait, what? Blasphemy?
Blasphemy is funny, so is
Blasphemy.
Treason.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Interesting.
And we can thank Jesus for that.
I mean, Jesus was preaching civil disobedience in the Sermon on the Mount. Like, Jesus was punk rock as shit. Like, he'd fuck with treason.
Jesus was a homie.
Jesus
was my
OG.
homie.
Yeah.
And I used to have a shirt that said that with a little heart.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, so a little context on how I met God. I met God because I was forcefully supposed to be militant, just like his little white supremacist homies. Yeah, I was born and bred into that nasty Christianity. So I feel...
gnarly brand.
I feel traumatized by that religion, but at the same time, I do not disrespect it because I do consider myself somewhat of like a Christian pagan because I love Jesus and the Bible is fun and that's it, really.
I mean, you can like, yeah, you don't have to be Christian to appreciate Jesus. I appreciate Jesus in a very philosophical, historic way.
I think I love Jesus like a little bit more than that though. I think I love Jesus like a friend that I don't know. Is that weird?
No.
Like an internet friend. Like we only talk like a couple times a year maybe.
That's so cute. That's so cute. I love that. Why can't that be a relationship with Jesus? That's wonderful. Have that relationship. Fuck yeah.
And also Jesus was Palestinian.
Also that. Thank you. I fucking hate all these fucking pictures of Jesus, like fucking blonde and blue-eyed. Yeah, like yes, this first century Palestinian man was blonde and blue-eyed. Sure. Y'all sound fucking stupid.
You know what I was thinking about, and I don't know if you want to get into it, but I thought I'd offer it for you. An experience of God. You remember when we were talking on the vampire episode, we said we'd maybe save it for...
Yeah.
And we coyly laughed at our audience
and we just
for not
laughed
understanding.
in your fucking faces. Yep. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Would you like to tell it, or would you not like to tell it?
I'm fine telling it.
Okay,
this is
go.
my only real experience of God. I do want to say my first real experience of like, it's not, I didn't experience God. Like, well, it wasn't like like an actual physical like experience of God, but I remember my first like philosophical intellectual experience of like God and religion was when I was 5 in kindergarten, and we were reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. And I remember, I still can remember my fucking classroom like it happened to me yesterday. It's crazy. I remember fucking saying one nation under God and being so fucking confused as like a 5-year-old, being like, what? Who's God? Aren't multiple religions allowed in this country? Who are we? What God are we one nation under? Like, this doesn't make any fucking sense to me. So I've always been a theology major in my heart. So that was like my first like real intellectual, emotional experience of like God and like what God is. But my first actual legit lived experience of God, I was making love to my first boyfriend We've been fighting for like 3 days. We finally broke through and like got our shit together, and we're
Getting
and I
it
don't
on.
ever say making love except for when I talk about this experience, because that's what it was. It wasn't fuck. We weren't having sex. We weren't fucking. It was real, you guys. And I just wow. I now that I'm here, I'm like, how do I even describe this experience? We were making love.
What did you see? Did you see something? Did you hear something?
I saw a light. I didn't hear anything. I just remember there was this all-encompassing, radiant white light. And when I say all-encompassing, I mean it took over fully, like, my mind. Like, I thought it was in the room. Like, it was fully taken over by this fucking light. And warmth. Like, there was like a warmth that accompanied it too, that was like not just like sweaty, like blah, 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 blah. Like, it's crazy. I cried. I fucking cried in the middle of sex. And excuse me, making love. I cried. I saw it and like started fucking crying. It's so beautiful. It's so
I had
warm.
that experience one time too, though. Only after you told me that you could have that kind of experience while you were making love. But I think it happened about maybe like a year and a half ago. So very recently.
Yeah.
And I would describe it almost the same exact way, except I felt like I was more like out of body. Like I kind of was like rising out of my body, and then I like walked forward into the light. And it was like I could see someone on the other side.
It like came to me. If I remember, because this also, I was like legit 17. So like, but I mean, I don't remember pretty fucking clearly.
I remember in my mind, I was just like, is this, the first thing I thought was like, is this what Katie is talking about? And then I was like, I think it is. And then I tried to explore it for myself, right? I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Oh my God, this is so cool.
I was just trying to live in it.
Because like, I will say it is not an orgasm. That's not what I'm describing here.
It's not. It's like
something else.
I make myself come all the time. I've never done that.
I've never traveled through space and time.
Union. Exactly like I've traveled through space and time on mushrooms, but that's different. That's drugs. Like, I was stone cold sober, like not drinking, didn't smoke weed at the time, like legit, like had never. No, that's not true. I had smoked weed, but like was not a stoner. Like, yeah. Yeah, man. It's crazy.
It's
crazy
amazing,
shit.
Actually. So
beautiful.
If you have a God sex story, we'd love to hear it. Write us
in the
DMs at Files from the Other Side on Instagram.
Please.
You don't have to describe the dirty details. What we want to know is, did you see God?
I mean, you can slide into my personal DMs if you want to give me the dirty details, because I'm always down with that. However,
she's the hot goss situation over here. I'll let you have your privacy, listeners.
I want you to have your if you want to share with me, but if you want to keep it private, God, by all means, please keep it fucking private. Like, you're an adult. You do what you want. Like, but we would love to hear the stories, and I'm down for the dirty details, because yo girl raunchy as shit. So
oh, well, I'm in love with the experience of God through and through. I don't care what other people say, if I'm like a kook or like crazy or whatever.
Oh, you know what? I actually did have another weird experience that I always attributed to God that we could also. So I forgot about this. And maybe it was vitamin deficiency. You know, like because some people blame ghosts on like vitamin deficiency or something like that. Like, I struggled with anorexia from 16 to 25. Like, some context about me. And I was like 19. It was like right before fucking physics. I hadn't eaten in like 3 or 4 days. It was like right before a physics test, like my sophomore year of college. I was having a cigarette and drinking dirty chai. outside. They're called the yin yang in Seattle, so that was like how I'd ordered it, which I think is fun. But I remember like I was like freaking out about something, and I felt like a hand on the back of my head and heard, "You need to eat, child." And
Could
I
have
was
been
like,
your ancestors too.
maybe,
But if you think it
yeah.
was God, I don't
I
know.
always attributed it to God, but it could have,
Or
it
vitamin
could,
deficiency.
or again, I had not eaten in 3 days. It could have been a vitamin deficiency, and I hallucinated it. But I always personally am like, was that God?
Was that God?
Was that God?
God? Is that you?
God? Are you there? That's me, Margaret. Okay, yeah, fun little. That's my only other kind of God story. But I know the light was ultimate reality.
All my other God stories are sad, so.
I mean, I hadn't eaten in 3 days. That's not like happy.
Okay, I guess I'll tell you one then. Okay, so it's around the time I was like 17, and I was on the bus, and I was crying. I was on a public bus, and I was crying because I was gay. And I decided to have one last prayer with the God that I had been previously worshiping as like Lord and Supreme, hail his mighty king, from that white supremacist Christianity stuff. So I was crying, and I told him, like, him, yeah, because it was a him. It had to be a him. It wasn't a her at all. But I was like, hey, dude, yeah, this is the last of me and you, especially if gay people can't be, like, you know, validated through your religion or whatever. And I remember losing all my friends after that. All my friends were like, yeah, this girl's too much, like, doing weird things. And also, but I wasn't being gay with them. I was just really uncomfortable being around them.
Yeah.
And all of their crazy ideas of what the world was supposed to be like. And so it's so funny, though, because I'm not friends with any of those people anymore from high school. Probably for the better, except for one person who I talk about a lot. Her name's Courtney. And she was actually Mormon right at the end of high school. And she, in her recent past, has since excommunicated the Mormon church for herself. And she's become more witchy, thanks to me.
We stand.
But we stand because I feel like, especially in this circumstance, I'm not saying that, like, you know, you have to turn away from God and do like any other thing. You don't have to do anything. You could do whatever you want. That's, I think, the point. But
as long as it's not murder or do whatever the fuck you want.
If it's not, I always say, if it's not harming people or harming yourself outright, like, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
And I think, like, why I love Courtney's story so much too is because the Mormon church is a cult. And it takes extreme bravery, and she is an extremely brave person to escape how she did and still be spiritually intact and want a spiritual relationship with whatever she wants a spiritual relationship with. I've taken her ghost hunting. She saw a UFO with me, so she's down for the Brazown these days. So yeah. Did I see God? Did I see a UFO? Who knows? But I loved it nonetheless.
I want so badly to see a UFO.
I want to see another one, I think.
To the point where in Hawaii, on our vacation, I'd see planes be like, is it not a UFO? Like, I remember seeing these weird lights that were like, I mean, they were the color of plane lights, but it was staying in one place, and then it disappeared. And Ames was like, it was a plane going in a certain direction and it changed direction, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. But it got to the point where I literally, at the end of the trip, like, I would see a plane pass and be like, look, not a UFO.
Look. Something weird in the sky, but it's not aliens.
But it's not aliens. And I want it to be aliens so bad. Wait, okay. You prayed to God, but did he answer or something? Like, where was the...
No, I just felt very moved in the moment. Like the amount of emotional depth that it took to have a conversation like that with, like...
Yeah.
Even with any other person, it was like, it was almost as if it were real.
Yeah. If you think it's real, it was real. Like,
it was so, like, I was definitely alone, like, in my mind on the bus, like, crying. But something, I never forgot it. And I never shied away from it being, like, the worst thing that ever happened to me, because it wasn't. And also, but at the time, I thought, like, I was definitely going to hell. And I was like, okay, I think after I abandoned Christianity, my main questions became like, if that isn't the only God, what kind of gods are there? It wasn't ever like, oh, there's nothing. Oh, I'm an atheist. I didn't sway that way at all.
My mom, when I decided, I was 12 when I decided I couldn't be Catholic anymore. And I remember, like, this is also, like, the story my mom tells about me the most. Which is, like, I'm like, this is, like, how my mother remembers me. But I like, came down crying. And I was like, Jesus says I'm supposed to love him above all things, but I don't. And she, like, counseled me through it. I, like, truly, as, like, a 12-year-old, was like, how the fuck am I supposed to love you more than my own mother? Like, get out of here. And, like, I couldn't. And she fucking specifically was like, you could have no religion if you decided. And I was like, nope. Not a thing. Like, literally, like, was not, I was like, I'm just gonna, like, read about Buddhism and Hinduism. Like, I just started learning about other religions, being like, what feels right to me? Blah, blah, blah. I wasn't, until I got, like, it wasn't really until I started drinking that I was, like, atheist or nihilist or whatever the fuck. And then, well, we see how that worked. I fucking quit drinking, so... But yeah, like, my mom presented that as an option. That's interesting that we both were the same way. Like, that never occurred to me that I could just not have a religion.
And I think for me, it's because I've experienced so many weird things through and through. Like, it was like, but there's all these unexplained circumstances that I don't know anything about. And I think that there's reason for it. I don't think that I can say that everything's just, like, either scientific or... if it is undiscovered, like, if it's the mysteries of the universe TM, like, it's not it's not like
sorry, I love that you trademarked the mysteries of the universe.
It is trademarked,
is it trademarked
by the universe.
To us, or is it
no,
by the universe? Okay, I love that. Yeah. That's hilarious.
No, it's not like you're supposed to know all things. Like, you can't know all things. I think
that's one of the banes of my existence, is that I can't know everything.
Well, we can wrap it up really quick in the next 3 minutes. Altar for your ancestors, altar for deities, and altar for yourself. What are some items that you would put on an altar for yourself, Katie?
I am all about the elements. So I like candles, obviously, but I like to have, like, I do, like, seashells. I have a candle, actually, that's made from parts, like, I picked up from the beach. Like, there's, like, I mean, there's obviously wax in it, but it's, like, specifically I made it to look like the beach. Like, the bottom is, like, brown for sand, and the part of it is blue because it was an ocean scented candle specifically, actually. Ooh. That I melted down and, like, put into a different configuration with, like, a little sand dollar and some pebbles that I picked up on the beach, and like, red candles for the element of fire. And I think that one of my pictures of my childhood dog, when my childhood dog passed away, we got, like, stamps of her snout and her paw. So, aww. Like, one of those is on my altar. I have my wand on my altar and a dream catcher, and, like, what do I do for the element of air? Candles again, but, like, with yellow, because I associate air with yellow and orange because Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I like that, actually.
I actually think I did a Fire Nation insignia on one of my fire shrines in my house. That's
hysterical. We stan. Altar for your ancestors, y'all. Ancestors' items, so jewelry, clothing, pictures, anything that might have been sacred to them, their favorite foods you can offer them on occasion, their favorite poetry or books, notes that you write to them, and a candle vigil. So you can light it over and over again and talk to your ancestors and relight it and stuff like that. Altar for deities. So altar for deities is actually going to be deity specific. There are a ton of resources you can find on what corresponds to each deity and certain things to do to worship or venerate or make contact with that deity. So you do that. And for yourself or your own magic, do things that honor you in a place where you can make your own spells, a place to make sacred for your tools and your magic supplies. So however you kind of do that, I like to keep it general with this kind of stuff because everybody's going to have different things they want to do for their personal practice. Just simply set up a space, set up several spaces, set up whatever you want. But it has, I guess the main rule sometimes with this kind of thing is that it is separate from anything else in your house. It's the sacred space. It's purposeful for its own thing.
No.
So that's what I have on altars. Very quick and easy.
Quick and dirty, just like I like it.
I have my dad's ashes on my altar, actually, in a glass-blown heart. I have a lot of cool stuff
beautiful.
on my altar. On God, we are through.
Damn. So quick?
So quick. Thank you for listening to this episode of Files from the Other Side. You can find us on Instagram at Files from the Other Side. Share this podcast if you like it, and don't forget to subscribe.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see you on the other side.
Good job, Katie.
You too, Skyler. I love you.
I love you.